Hello everyone, and welcome to day 4 of the BookTube Vlog-Nukkah calendar. Yay! Same deal. I draw a title of the Portraits of Little Women out of the jar. I read it in Braille, get a little extra Braille practice, and then I report back with my thoughts. All right, here we go. Drum roll, please. Okay. Okay, let me lay it flat on one of the books so I can read it. And this is what it looks like when I'm reading in Braille. I think I'm going to try using two hands. I'm a little quicker when I use two hands. I was trying to do it up where you could see it, but I can only use one hand when I do that, and I am a little faster with two hands. So here we go. And closing my eyes sometimes helps. All right. B, E, T. Okay, Beth. M, A, K. Makes. I think I know which one it is. Beth makes oh, I made a mistake in the Braille. I wrote L when I meant to write R, but I'm figuring it out. All right, F. Beth makes a friend. Okay, 1 second. That is this one. Okay, I think I'm actually going to read you guys the front flap of this book. It's more detailed than the back, and the background isn't quite as intricate, so it's actually not too hard to read compared to the others. All right. Beth March would do just about anything to help someone in need. She's kind-hearted, loyal, and caring. So when she catches scruffy Sean O'Neill stealing apples from Aunt March's garden, Beth listens to the hungry boy's sad story. She's moved when she hears that Sean's widowed mother and younger siblings are immigrants from poverty-stricken Ireland. But times are hard in Massachusetts, too. Sean's mother has been ill and out of work, and with sisters and brothers to care for, Sean has to scrape up food for them any way he can. Promising to help, Beth gives him whatever food and old clothes her family can spare. It's not enough, and Beth makes a plan to steal from wealthy Aunt March. But Sean's own thieving forces I think I flubbed that up. Let me try again. But Sean's own thieving forces Beth to question what being a true friend really means. And together, they discover generosity in the person who has seemed the most cold-hearted. If memory serves, this was another one I really liked when I was a child. And I have a sizable piece of Irish ancestry on my mom's side of the family. A little bit on my dad's side, but mostly on my mom's side. And And so I've been getting more interested in like Irish history and the history of Irish immigrants, because my mom's family has not been in the U.S. anywhere near as long as my dad's side of the family has, and um, you know how my brain is. I can't really help but apply historical context, to these kinds of things. Um, so yeah, I will read this and report back. All right, bye. Hello, I am back after reading Beth Makes a Friend. And as I expected, I am having a lot of thoughts about immigration, acceptance, othering, all of the topics that kind of come up. What am I trying to say? Topics that seem just as relevant today. So, if you didn't already know this, there is a long, complicated history of American prejudice against the Irish. And it's also kind of tied in with anti-Catholic prejudice, which I will be getting into at some point because it's a thing. I want to be very clear when the far right talks about wanting to make America a Christian nation, they are not including Catholicism in that. They do not think of Catholicism as a Christian denomination. Now, there are problems in the Catholic Church, absolutely, but I'm not saying there aren't, but blanket prejudice against every practicing Catholic person is not the way to deal with that. I'm also going to mention that statistically, it is actually more common for clergy abuse of children in evangelical denominations, statistically. Okay, getting off that soapbox and getting into the book. So, Mr. March, the father, is, as I mentioned, a clergyman, and in today's terms, we would think of him as a progressive pastor, not the fundamentalist fire and brimstone type, very much, the help people. My brain thinks of that as the widows and orphans kind of Christian, like actually caring about, people, even if they're different. So we see a lot of the prejudice against from American-born children against Irish kids, like Sean O'Neill, and you can tell the kids are spouting what they've heard. It's eerie how similar it is in America today. And I think because I'm an adult, in the time I'm living, seeing the things I'm seeing, there were parts of this book that are more heartbreaking than they were when I was a child. I don't know if that makes any sense. I'm actually going to read a quote from the book that really stuck out to me. So the other characters mentioned are schoolmates of the March girls, Joe and Beth. Oh, this is so heartbreaking. My family helps the poor and the unfortunate too, Gertrude said, but they should be worthy of our help. And you may be right, Beth. Maybe there are some Irish who are decent folk, but my parents have yet to meet any. My father says the Irish want to live the way they do, Charles announced. He says that's how they lived back in Ireland, sharing their huts with pigs and chickens. He says they don't believe in cleanliness. Then why has your mother hired one to do the washing? Joe asked. Because my mother was taking pity on the poor unfortunates, Charles said. I believe it was your mother who talked her into it. That sounds like Mrs. March, Gertrude said. Joe glowered at her. Worrying about the poor, I mean. Oh, this next part is so infuriating. I saw a sign once, Charles said, at a hotel. It said, "No dogs or Irish." He laughed. What an awful thing to say, Beth said. How would you feel if you saw a sign like that about your people? But there would never be such a sign, Charles replied. My people, as you call them, are respectable members of society. As long as the Irish aren't, they will be treated differently. That's just the way of the world. Then there's something wrong with the world, Beth said, and she ran away from Charles and Gertrude and their wicked, bigoted words. That could have been written today. I mean, obviously not the same demographic of people, but America is reeking of that sentiment today. Um, what am I trying to say? I'm trying not to leave this video on such a sad note, but I did not realize how hard this was going to hit me. As I've mentioned before, I've mentioned this before. I have a sizable piece of German and Irish ancestry. I'm just flubbing up my words here. The next biggest piece of ancestry next to German is Irish, and because my mom's ancestors haven't been in the US as long, to find out more about that history, I have to look at the broader history of Ireland because there aren't as many family records. And so that's just something else I've been thinking about, learning more about that history and maybe developing a more rounded view of who I am. I don't know. Identity is complicated, and I just hate this idea that like there's true Americans and not legitimate Americans. It's like if you're not indigenous, your ancestry is not from here. This shouldn't be complicated. Okay. I am going to end this here. Thank you for watching, and I will be back for day 5. All right. Bye, guys.
If you enjoyed this video, please do me a huge favor and hit the thumbs up. And be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll be back soon. Like you try. Bye.